Time now for Fansville Advantage presented by Dr. Pepper. We're going to stay with this conversation right now. Can we settle the debate of which Death Valley is the real one? So their head coach, LSU's, had something to say about it this summer.
You want great habits when they're needed. When you're on the road and you're playing in Death Valley Junior, not the Death Valley. That's what you need. You need those traits on a day-to-day basis.
Brian Kelly should probably focus on winning a game, the first game of the season, maybe once in his time at LSU. That's
all right.
Rather than worrying about which Death Valley is the real one. Anyways, so let's take a look at all these stats. I like it. Whatever. Who cares about capacity? You're open. You're open. LSU says 1924. Clemson's obviously says 1942. I want to be very clear. Clemson's Death Valley was called Death Valley before LSU's Death Valley. In the 40s. LSU's Death Valley became Death Valley in the 70s, and the reason it became Death Valley is because people used to say it was very loud there, so they call it Death Valley, D-E-A-F, so you couldn't hear, and they couldn't hear so much that they started turning deaf into death, okay? So that's what happened. It's really copycat league.
So I hear you, and while those are facts, hold on. So while those are facts, Christine, I am of the belief that anything that happened before color television is not real. So whether it is national championships, whether it's, you called your Death Valley first or not, that does not matter. I've been to both. LSU is the real Death Valley.
Well, you're speaking from someone who grew up as a Florida fan, and I went to a game in the real Death Valley at LSU when #1 Florida went into there and played a night game. As a kid, riding all the way back home with my father, I can barely hear out of my ears. I was crying because the University of Florida lost, and Death Valley had an impact on that matchup as well. So I'm going with the LSU Tigers over the Clemson Tigers.
It's called It's called Death Valley, D-E-A-F.
Anyway, I also want to clarify, we definitely both believe that it is LSU, but part of me is definitely inspired by just picking on Christine.
Whatever. It's not the real Death Valley.
You're 5.
The real Death Valley is in Clemson, South Carolina. Speaking of, that game at 7:30 p.m. Eastern tonight.
You want this, you got that.